Pioneer Valley Data is now up and running. The website is designed to be a user-friendly tool to examine and assess a wide range of regional metrics on education, labor and employment, civics, and more. The information gathered by the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission is searchable, customizable, and it's freely available. I spoke with Katie Zobel, President and CEO of the Community Foundation of Western Massachusetts, and Molly Gorin-Watts, Principal Planner of the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission, about the details.
The Pioneer Valley Planning Commission manages a regional data center that we've always been a home for collecting data from a lot of different sources and helping our communities, nonprofits, foundations with having access to data about the region. In one central place. People call us for data for grant applications, for strategic development, evaluation. And as technology has evolved, we've been thinking a lot about how we can make that data better accessible to the public and give them more ways that they can actually manipulate the data and look at the data and have it really be useful information.
It's a super slick, very user-friendly website, I have to say. And as a journalist, I really appreciate having a data portal that's really user-friendly, because as you're bobbling around either in census data, sometimes it's hard to interpret or understand. Also, the pie guy just, is super cute.
Yeah, we were very excited about that idea.
And that was a fun spin, or fun play on Pioneer Valley. Pie
charts.
Yeah.
And we're data geeks. But
all
we
sorts of nerdy jokes inserted here.
Exactly. But we really wanted to make it fun and accessible and make it be something that felt like anybody can use data, anybody can access this and really do something interesting with it.
Katie, for your part, the Community Foundation, obviously you're working with lots of different entities across the region, but what did you think when you heard the idea that the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission was launching this new site?
Well, we were thrilled to be partners with them. We have been partners along with many other funders on the State of the People report that they'd been putting out each time the census data was available. And that's actually when it really started, the first conversation around producing this huge report, which was in a book format in 2011, 2012.
2012, yeah.
And we kept thinking, this is terrific, but it's not accessible to everyone in real time with updated information. And so a number of vendors were getting together, and we work in partnership with PVPC on a number of projects. And so we said, okay, we've got to figure out how to do this. It took a few years of conversations,
yes.
but thanks to the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission and the other folks that you've been working with, the Rhodes Group, and people providing and thinking about data for all of us. And as a community foundation, we are committed to the entire valley and to the entire community. So journalists, individuals, the public, as well as the not-for-profit sector, all of us need access to data.
And it's all online, it's freely available. It's not as if you have to pay a subscription or have a coupon code or a security, a password to access the data. You just go, browse, grab information by either topic or location, data set. So lots of different ways you can look at the data. Where did you pull from? I mean, I imagine the Census Bureau gave you a lot of the information, but where else did you pull from?
Yeah, we get a lot of data from the Census Bureau, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, a lot of the state executive offices of, Department of Education and Executive Office of Labor and Workforce Development, EPA. We also have some local data sources that we work with local organizations to develop and track.
And so when you recently announced this concept to the public, you did so in a very fun way, again, using that pie, so people got served pie, but also you had a little game show. So I'm gonna rip off that idea. I'm just gonna be completely upfront about it. We're gonna play a little bit of that here. So I'll ask a few questions and we'll see what the answers are. So one of the questions, which of these communities in the Pioneer Valley had the highest voter turnout rate in the 2016 election, registered voters who turned in ballots? Was it Hadley, Northampton, Leiden, or Montgomery? Now, I know you guys know the answer now, but before you knew the answer, what did you think it was?
I think my answer was Northampton.
That was my answer too.
That's what the whole audience was saying, Northampton, Northampton, Northampton. And I didn't know the answer in the audience. I wasn't privy to the answers, but I thought it must be, I bet you it's a small town with a lot of engaged people, but I didn't know if it was Montgomery or Leiden, so I didn't know.
The answer is Leiden. It's almost 88%.
It's a good turnout.
So I think that this is a good place to say the data isn't always what you think it might be.
Exactly. And that was one of the points for us in having this kind of game show, is to show that these aren't questions that you should automatically know the answer to. You know, there are facts, and we don't have them all in our head, and we need a good resource to be able to go find those answers.
Also an opportunity to challenge the assumptions that each of us might have about a region, a particular community, et cetera. Okay, let's move on. Another question. Which of these communities, I want to be a game show host, which of these communities in the Pioneer Valley had the highest percentage of foreign-born residents according to the 2017 census? Was it West Springfield, Sunderland, Amherst, or Holyoke? Yes, Katie.
No, this is a great example of challenging assumptions, because nobody in the audience and none of our players could guess it, and I certainly didn't
And the
know that it
answer
was
is
Sunderland. Yeah.
with 18%. And again, one of those small communities standing out.
Out of 69 cities and towns in the region, who would have thought it was Sunderland?
That was not my guess.
Yeah, that's why we need the
absolutely.
data and access to it. One of the things just to bring out is that we're launching this together, but it is the starting point. So one of the most important things to let everyone know is to be going on the site and then giving us feedback. There's actually a tool on the site to give feedback so that we can continuously improve and gather the best data that we can for this region. We need that access.
And how often will that data be updated? Because some of it is really, really timely data.
Yeah, so right now we're updating all of that data basically on an annual basis, based on the fact that the data that's in there is annual data. But there are different updates that happen throughout the year based on where it comes from. So we're always trying to keep it as fresh as it possibly can be. And there's certainly possibility that in the future we might have quarterly or monthly data from other sources as well.
And I also noticed when I was nosing around on the site that there's a terms of use and agreement. Is that because when you select that, will Pioneer Valley Planning Commission be tracking what is being researched so that you know or have a sense of it?
We would love to be able to do that. Right now, we don't have the capacity to see exactly which data sets people are downloading. We're just tracking how much people are using it. But the real purpose of that is we want everybody to be able to access and use this data for whatever purposes they would like to use it for. And we also want to make clear that we're providing the data, and whatever people do with it is up to them and their responsibility.
To the point about whatever people do with it, you can make maps, different presentation tools. That seems pretty complicated. How was that element added to the site?
Actually, it's all using one software that was really effective for this purpose, called Tableau, which has all of that stuff built in, and so people can download images of the maps and the graphs. They can make their own customized graphs. They can share it on social media. They can put those images right into their own presentation or email it to somebody. So we just wanted to make it as usable as possible, that people didn't have to have their own technical skills to be able to get something that looks really nice and be able to have a conversation with data with other people.